Well, how are you all? This time of your day, as no time to live yet. All right, we will, as you say, begin with question.
Bashar, I was listening to talk a couple weeks ago. I'm curious about the concept of God. I was speaking to some individual the other night at some party that was very much into God and God directing his life and Christ and so forth, and very much believes that he's being directed by this entity of God. And I was trying to understand how a person would come to that kind of a understanding and feel that is what is directing him rather than feeling it's himself.
All right. Understand first of all that each individual will have their own path for their own understanding of themselves at that time. Realize that for them, that will be exactly the path they need to view those portions of themselves that they need to view at that time to allow themselves to integrate that portion within their overall personality. However, understand that within your, I'll say, particular culture on your planet at this time, there is still the idea that such a degree of power, I'll say, of necessity, cannot come from yourself. Understand? To a degree. See, simply, still at this point, the idea of the lack of willingness to be responsible for everything that happens within one's reality. Understand, therefore, if you can, as you say in your terms, ascribe this power to another being greater than yourself, in that sense, then also you do not have to be blind for those things which befall you. Understand? That is because many of your people still view the idea of responsibility as blame instead of freedom of choice. Once they understand that being totally responsible for everything, every situation within their lives, within their reality, means that they are free to choose any situation that they wish, then they will understand that power is their own, and they will not need to feel less than something else. They will not need to feel that they are at the whim of a greater intelligence. They will understand that they can be completely that intelligence. Realize that in your terms, what you call the Christ consciousness was specifically, I would say, informing the people round and about that being that they did not have to follow him, that they were not less than him, but that they could understand themselves as him. You follow me?
Yes, so why did they get so into Jesus as God now? What he was preaching obviously wasn't followed then to a large extent.
All right. I'll say, yes, there is that as well. But again, understand that the idea of following rather than living will, in a sense, create all those ideas, again, as God being separate from the self. And as such, when any one individual recognizes that with him, I'll say, him or herself, then those that will not be, but will follow, will always assume, sometimes, that, therefore, that specific individual, therefore, must be the God that they feel is greater than themselves, since they were willing to admit that. Do you follow me?
Yeah. So, one other question would be then, how would a person who really believes in God doing everything for himself, how would they get to the point of feeling that they are causing it? If there's so much into that, what would have to occur for them to
all right.
change that?
Understand that again. Realize there is no need for anyone to assume that they must change. That they must change. Realize that is not your responsibility. You follow me so far? It is not your responsibility to assume that they must change.
Not my responsibility to assume that.
Not your responsibility to worry about them.
No, you're right. Yeah.
All right. Therefore, simply understand that from time to time, there will be individuals who will not.
I agree.
But there will also be individuals who will arrive at a point where they simply understand that being fully within the idea of the love that is expressed by what you term to be God, will allow them to feel that energy within themselves. Many individuals will simply become tired of following. All right?
Yeah,
Would be different for many different individuals.
Okay.
Yes.
What is the purpose then of the Bible having been written, and has it been changed from the original?
Oh yes.
And it's really followed and interpreted.
All right. Again, realize that every individual will again pull their own purpose out of that idea. Realize that it was an attempt again by many individuals simply to understand their relationship to the idea. But I will say again, for the most part, was translated through the viewpoint of being a follower rather than being, I'll say, the creator. You follow me? But yes, there have also been many, what you talk about, changes within, I'll say, that translation of events. And each, I'll say, translation, each change, each difference was the viewpoint of the time. You follow me?
Yes.
Question.
What would be a component to overcome the fear of our own power?
All right, thank you. Understand, first of all, that you are always, without exception, not one tiny moment of time do you not exercise that power. You are doing it right now in order to create your reality, in order to project what you see around and about you, what you assume to be outside yourself. You are utilizing that power right now. How does it feel? You're not even aware of it, are you? It is not such a big, bad, scary thing. Understand you are doing it right now. Therefore, understand that you are not afraid right now. Understand that only when you allow yourself to view certain ideas of yourself that your fear allows you to see for the first time, then you, in not allowing yourself simply to have the fear and allow it to show you what you have chosen for it to show you, really, you only, I'll say, experience negative effects of your emotions, even fear, when you are viewing those emotions through, I'll say, an artificial screen of, again, guilt, judgment. Understand that if you simply allow yourself to feel the emotion and act upon the emotion itself, it will always allow you, I'll say, broader understanding of yourself. You may simply understand that that fear is a messenger to show you that you have reactions, not actions, reactions to certain ideas about yourself, and as such, you may then simply allow yourself to cease reacting and begin to act. But realize that when you do not think about it, you are always acting and are not afraid of the power that you always exercise. You follow me?
Yes.
Realize there really is no difference between the exercising of your power as a creator when you are not thinking about it and when you are thinking about it. Only your thoughts make it a difference. You follow me?
Yes.
Question.
Bashar, I have a question. I wanted to ask for a friend who Patterson back in Springfield, who to define worry.
All right. Thank you. Understand again that many of those ideas stem from viewing yourself through what we term artificial screens of artificial emotionality. Understand that when you worry, you are telling yourself that what you really believe is what you fear will happen. Understand that a fear that a reality will be so is the same as believing that it will, and your reality is based upon your belief structure. Understand that simply. It is also, again, I'll say, derived from the idea that you are not in control, that you are a victim, that something can happen to you without your consent, without your agreement. But understand that even if that, as you say, terrible thing should happen, if you understand that you have created that for yourself, realize that you can immediately remove all negative effects of that occurrence, and as such will not need to worry, understanding as you will at that point that every situation you give yourself can always be channeled into positive action. Really, I'll say again, to simply, that idea that you are not in control, that you have to be a victim. That life carries the idea that things can pop up when you do not expect it, when you have not created it. Now, you may surprise yourself, yes, but understand that in having chosen to attract that situation to you, it gives you a perfect viewpoint of your belief system, and as such, gives you clear sight into yourself at that point, and as such, allows you to take total responsibility, and as such, allows you to change your reality into whatever you wish at that point. You follow me?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Question? Yes.
You possibly have...
All right. First of all, realize that we will usually not make a separation between your idea of spirituality and any of the rest of your state of consciousness. Understand that simply you are, even while you are physical, a spiritual being. And what you turn to be your physical body is simply a projection of another viewpoint of your spiritual self, of your consciousness. Understand that the idea of simply acting as your spiritual self simply means allowing yourself to be completely integrated within the idea that all levels of your consciousness do function as creators and are all valid and function together, and that they are separate only because of the idea of separation. Really then, in a sense, you may simply understand that that idea of the integrated self is the idea which your term of integrity stems from. And when you always exercise that integrity, you are always acting as a spiritual being. You follow me?
So it's really just...
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Question?
I've noticed you mentioned the difference.
Again, understand that they are all part of the same type of consciousness, but in the fact that you have created a difference, there is, in a sense, then an experiential difference for you within physical dimensionality. And as such, it is, in a sense, this way. You have consciousness. Your consciousness projects itself into physicalness. But in doing so, it creates, I'll say, a gateway through which it may translate its non-physicality into physicality. This gateway is called your physical brain. Understand that in the creation of your physical brain, to translate the non-physical into the physical, you will, I'll say, make use of the idea of the physical universe of vibration, of electromagnetic, I'll say, waves and forms, and you will find that you have created within that idea of the brain then electrical and electrochemical and electromagnetic, I'll say, patterns and waves, which are a direct symbolic reflection of that consciousness. And as such, it is that, I'll say, combination of electrical, symbolic connections which mimic the consciousness so that it can translate into physicality, which functions as what you call the mind. Follow me?
Yes.
Thank you. Question? Yes.
People talk with head records and they look up...
All right. Are you referring to what in your terminology is Akashic?
Yes, that's it.
All right. Understand that, in a sense, yes. But again, realize that when you ask, is there such a thing? Realize that you are asking in a way that makes it seem as if there is a separate, I'll say, idea which exists apart from all that is. In the sense that you are creating the idea in symbolic terms, realizing that all the while you can tap into any portion of all that is, since you are all that is. But you are making a separation between yourself and that portion of yourself which recognizes that it can have access to all information about itself, and you are referring to that portion of yourself as the Akashic records. You follow me?
Yes. On this, but how do these beings have this...
What type of powers do they have that you do not?
Now, if you had saying that you are...
Understand that any individual who wishes to can, in a sense, form a link with any other consciousness that allows you to do so. And you can, at that moment, I'll say, give your interpretation, your impression of how you feel that being to be. But understand that all you are doing is picking up on what that being allows you to pick up of their idea of themselves. You follow me? You have that ability. Again, as long as you consider yourself to be less, is when you restrict yourself from that ability. You follow me? Thank you. Question. All right.
I'm personally aware of the fact that dolphins are actually intelligent.
Yes.
I'm wondering, what though they have played some part in it, and I'm curious to know what.
All right. First of all, thank you. Realize that they have been in telepathic communication for some time with civilizations round and about Sirius, who is now beginning to be in telepathic communication with your civilization as well on your planet. They have been before, they are now doing it again. But understand that all the while, what you term to be dolphin consciousness has been in communication with them. Also understand, therefore, that in a sense, one idea of their purpose with you is to show you that ability exists, so that you may understand you can, I'll say, converse, communicate with various forms of consciousness, even though it may be very unlike your own in terms of environment, and that there are ways to communicate which do not involve the ideas of logic and analyzation. You follow me? Also, understand that one of the primary ideas that they exhibit to you is that life can in and of itself always be a constant state of ecstasy.
Right.
You follow me?
Yes, they are.
Thank you. Question.
I had a dream, a bird on the wall, and I looked at the eyes of the bird, and it opened mouth, and there was this beautiful music. I experienced a moment of ecstasy.
Very good. Thank you very much for sharing that viewpoint of yourself from your higher consciousness. Thank you. Question. Not at this time. Question.
Can you tell us more about that?
All right. Again, simply understand that within your own view of yourself, there are beings who allow themselves to understand, simply know their connection to their own higher consciousness, and as such may form gateways, doorways for the rest of that civilization to pass through. But understand that the first step in passing through those masters, those doorways, those gateways, is to understand that you yourself are a master. Question.
Yes, I want to.
Not really. Understand that there will be different expression of consciousness, just as you have, but each expression of consciousness is viewed from the idea of being equal to every other level of consciousness. You follow me? At this time, mostly, we function, I'll say, to a great degree without the idea of the separations between the various levels of dream reality, imagination reality, and physical reality, which is why, in a sense, we are able, even as your future selves, to be here with you now. Because time to us is a part of our reality that we may choose to ignore, in a sense. Question.
You said, I remember in the last lecture you said time was very fluid for you. In effect, and I was looking at this and I thought, well, in effect, if we sat down and you talked, and it could be for 2 or 3 of our sessions, whereas it was one for yours.
Yes.
Could also, it seems like when you answer us very spontaneously, that could be an apparency that you in fact could take as long as you wish to.
In a sense, yes. Very good.
Thank you.
Understand that there will be variations from time to time. I will say, right now, I am speaking to you in what you term to be real time. But also, the spontaneity is also possible by allowing myself to send a portion of my dream reality self, realize that I can still, in your terms, therefore function physically, without necessarily being directly, consciously involved if I choose to form that separation between myself and my dream reality self, which may communicate with you spontaneously. Question.
Back up a little bit on the question about the master.
Yes?
Were you saying there are certain individuals that choose to be like pioneers and open certain gateways for civilization?
In a sense.
Okay. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Simply understand that what you view as these, I'll say, so-called masters, realize that is not their name for themselves. They view themselves as completely equal to you. But simply, you have given them, I'll say, again, that idea that for a time they are a little bit, I'll say, greater than you are. But really, they simply form, I will say, stabilizations of consciousness, of energy, so that they may form stable points, fulcrum points, doorways, gateways, I'll say, through which you may have understanding of your own higher consciousness and understand your own mastership. You follow me?
Yes, I do. It seems that with individuals, where they've led me through a gateway, and then I've led other individuals.
Yes. Again, you are all masters.
Okay.
Question.
What is triangle? What happens to people that disappear in that area?
I will say, first of all, different things at different times. Understand that many have simply, in your terms, crashed. Still have not been found, though they exist within your ocean. Some have ventured through what we call, I'll say, dimensional doorways into other states of existence. You follow me?
Yeah.
Could it be a time warp or something?
In a sense. Understand that when they arrive, in a sense, within that other dimension, for a time there will be, in your terms, disorientation. But, I'll say, should they survive physically, they will reacclimate a new identity to that dimension. You follow me? They will become as if they have always been in that dimension.
They won't even recall having been.
No, not until they leave the physical form. There will be very, very rarely exceptions to that idea. Question.
I have a question. When you talk about karma or something, people have done things in their past, and so bad things might happen to them, and they're sort of repaying their debt. Like, for instance, if some people have been in plane crashes. Would that mean, for some reason, that everybody on that plane that was in the crash that died somewhere along the line had done something, and they all felt that at the same time they needed this experience of crashing in a plane together to grow, you know?
Only in a sense. Only in a sense. Realize there may be many reasons for all the individuals, I'll say, in a mass death to be there. Understand, first of all, that again, karma is totally self-imposed. It is up to you to decide. But understand that what you are viewing as a negative event for some may not be. Simply, they may have chosen that time to end their physical lives and simply gone along for the ride. You follow me?
Yes. The thing I'm not totally aware of is when people do end their physical life, is it always that they have chosen it, whether it's conscious or not?
Yes.
It's never that it just happens to occur? Or...
Not really. It will always fit their own sense of timing for what they have chosen to experience within the physical life.
So we're creating a great deal more than we think we are at any particular
Oh, yes. Question.
Yes, I have one.
Yes.
Concerning predestination.
Yes.
How can I know if it isn't true?
All right. You have free will and, in a sense, you have predestination to a degree within physical dimensionality. Both. Understand that if you choose to walk through doorway A, free will, but you are also choosing to abide by certain what you term to be physical laws, you will always go to the end of the tunnel before you are able to walk through another doorway. So the tunnel itself is the predestined part of your free will choice. Then at the end of the tunnel, you may make another free will choice. You follow me?
Yes.
The idea of predestiny simply is that of commitment to a choice that you have made. Period.
Okay, what about if a psychic predicts a plane crash that kills
All right,
300 people?
again, understand that there is no such thing as a prediction of the future. There is no future, there is no past. A prediction is a sensing of the most amount of energy behind a particular idea at the time the prediction is made. Understand that for mass events, therefore, there is a great deal more likelihood that the energy behind that creation will not change. Therefore, it seems to you that the prediction comes true.
But there are many.
Yes. Therefore, those are easiest to sense and most likely, in your terms, to come to pass. But it could have been changed if all the mass consciousness within that group decided to completely change their idea of themselves at that point.
So if groups of people about to take any trip, like on a plane, if they would get together and pray or put their consciousness in a positive state of mind, then would there be less of a chance for a plane to crash?
Understand that if they, within their own understanding of themselves, understand that it is the best thing that they do crash, they will crash nonetheless. But if they are simply experimenting with their ability to change their realities, and it is really not their choosing at that time to have died, yes, they may change their reality that easily, even in the midst of the crash.
That they would survive?
Yes. Or that the, I'll say, airplane would correct itself. Oh, very mysterious.
That recently happened.
Yes. Thank you. Question.
Is there any way of contacting people who have made this transition?
Of course.
Just by belief?
In a sense. Understand that if you have purpose in doing so, those contacts will be there. But again, you may, from time to time, simply, while allowing yourself to explore your own, I'll say, telepathic, psychic, channeling abilities, understand that you can be, I'll say, in communication from time to time with those beings. But understand one thing. Many of your individuals on your planet still, within physical form, assume that those people mostly are hanging around waiting for you to talk to them. That is not so. Understand that to a degree, you will find that to be a relatively rare occurrence because they will be all about their business and really will not have any connection left to what you term to be physical life, except for a few instances. Understand that if you suddenly found yourself able to create instantly whatever reality you thought of and saw yourself in a completely expanded view, in a sense, it would be very difficult for you to narrow your focus back down to a limited viewpoint and communicate with those still in that existence.
So therefore, the people who have been in contact with, who have been dear to us, may have nothing to do with us anymore.
Perhaps. It is up to them.
Yes or no?
Depends again upon the relationship involved. Always depends upon each and every relationship and chosen path. All will exercise different ideas of that expression. But understand that for yourself, not for them. There is no path. Always higher consciously in touch with them. Always.
So if they appear, it's not fun?
If they, I'll say, appear, then deal with it. If not, go on about your business as they have gone on about theirs.
So the less important we
Very good. Question.
Yeah, I have
All right, now understand again that you are viewing this idea within the viewpoint of time. Understand that all lives occur right now simultaneously because there is no time. But in terms of what you may understand as your perception within the idea of time, in a sense, yes, you simply exist in another state of consciousness until you make the decision to re-enter physical life. Can be within the next few seconds after death, can be thousands of years later. But for you, in that state, the time will not pass in that way. You will simply re-emerge where you need to along the time track. You follow me?
Yes, I do.
No matter how long it seems to you, you have also thought about it. One moment. Yes.
Where time is concerned. Now, if I were just to say a viewpoint, body, or anything, then
Yes.
that would be okay. But if I have a physical,
Yes.
because we're assuming a viewpoint to look at
Yes.
it at a dimension point, but it
Yes.
takes time to look at it, takes time to get it.
Yes.
All right, so that's in the physical universe.
Yes. Yes.
You said there. What is that business?
They much the same as your own. They have new friends. They have jobs, in a sense. You follow me? All right, understand that to a degree. One of those jobs is functioning as a guide. That is a job. You follow me?
Yeah.
Understand there will be many ideas in various levels of states of consciousness which will be all on about the business of learning more about themselves by performing, in a sense, functions within newly created realities that will give them the opportunity to experience themselves within those new levels, much in the same way that you do in physical by undertaking certain ideas, creating certain realities, experiencing certain, I'll say, forms of consciousness. But simply, it is done in a different way. But you may make an analogy to those ideas you got, or simply undertakes. All of you have guides, yes. Some of those guides are what in terms of the other consciousness. Some of those guides are projections of your own consciousness projected back to you, seemingly as a separate consciousness. But you will form, I'll say, an acceptable method of listening to yourself. Understand that what in terms of your spirit guides very rarely will directly communicate with you. But understand that when, I'll say, you're conscious, for the most part, of communication between you and a guide, it is, I'll say, your outer spirit guide allowing your inner reality and opportunity to understand that you are creating your reality, to be more aware of yourself, not to rely upon them. They are not controllers, they are guides. That is all. And the best guides work invisibly.
Okay, so you said that when letting it
Yes. Your own sense of timing, it is absolutely no. You're also to go on. Do not spend time, I'll say, giving your energy into the idea of judging yourself. Then you will be creating a space from which you will not move. You will be creating a situation which will not change shape, and that is what you call a problem.
So that because there's a hold us back.
Yes, in a sense, again, ultimately, it will always be all right. Important from all those ideas, and you will always find yourself proceeding onward. Yes?
Did you say that the best guys are invisible and the worst guys are invisible? So like right now,
Yes.
I know you don't differentiate, but
Realize that to some degree we do, since we are also physical.
what you do, translate to me
In a sense, yes.
how many, I mean just give me a, because I
All right, allow me to say, the confusion comes because you can, if you, I'll say, understand, project long enough, understand that you will never reach an end to your projection. Because each projection of imagination into yourself is truly a new creation. But understand that has to do with exactly where the focus of consciousness. Again, understand that in terms of how I view myself, I simply live. And understand that I can create within my imagination the idea that I have an infinite number of projections. In creating that imagination, then it is so. Therefore, it would be, as you say, confusing to attempt to track them all down. Particularly when I have to do it from this viewpoint and not from the viewpoint of one of those other infinite creations. Understand that you have alternate lives, and those alternate lives also of themselves to be the solid lives. Right? Thank you. Understand reality, imagination reality, subconsciousness, hyperconsciousness, mass consciousness, future consciousness, past consciousness, alternate reality consciousness, parallel universe consciousness, several dozen states. But again, it will fluctuate from time to time as you become aware of different portions of my life. Always the timing will be exactly what you
started connecting to a more certainty, more having faith, more.
right. Again, any symbol which works for you will be the right symbol. But again, understand, does not matter who is doing it. Ultimately, you are doing it. What? Thank you. I will laugh later. Question? Yes, then yes.
I've been away, and there's several dreams that keep recurring. Not recurring, I just keep continuing.
Yes.
Now, the people that are in those dreams, am I just
both? Understand that you are in contact with other consciousness, but you are creating your symbolic versions of them to bring back with you into your physical memory. Or in a sense, both. And also to some degree, some portions of those individuals are simply portions of your own consciousness also. I will say there is both.
They're not creating themselves in that.
Not really. They are projecting, I will say to some degree. You may be somewhat accurate according to their own transmission, but I will say there will always be your own flavor involved. You follow me?
How about the physical universe? I mean,
the same, as this is also a dream. You follow me? Understand that, again, this is in a sense a limited focus dream, already having been experienced in your dream reality and now projected into physical dimensionality. But again, because each and every one of you is your own universe, you always, by agreement, must create your own versions of whatever other consciousness you wish, I'll say, draw from yourself. You understand? You are mirroring the communication with your own idea of that reflection, and that reflection will always be a version of a portion of you that can show you how you view yourself. Follow me?
Yes, I agree. I just like for things to be different.
Different how?
Well, I would like to say that there's some things that I would like to be doing.
Then do them, be them, and have them.
Well, I have stopped.
Why?
I don't know. I think it has to do with the tape. I've got a great reality on the negative flow action and how do I bring those two together?
First of all, by discontinuing to label them and therefore keeping them separate. You follow me?
Well, how do I get rid of it? Get rid of what is...
Stop labeling them. Stop seeing them as separate. Stop seeing them as something that need to be brought together when they already are. Go out and do without worrying that you are coming apart at the seams. You follow me? Understand that you will be able to draw on whatever portion of that consciousness, of that energy that you need to, exactly when you need to, for whatever you need to do. It will always be there again.
I'm just letting those stop moving, right?
Yes.
The analyzer.
Yes. Yes.
I just have to take the book like a horse.
You don't have to force anything. Just do it. One moment.
I wanted to see what you thought of this. About I was experiencing. It wasn't just despair, like as if it was coming from me, like people would kill themselves to get rid of it.
Yes.
And it was just so pure without anything dampening it. And then that seemed to stop, and now it's occurring with
unrest. Yes.
And it's so intense. I'm
both. Understand that you are allowing yourself to view mass conscious emotionality for the purpose of understanding that you can rechannel that energy in positive ways. Understand that when you experience despair, it is because there has been, I'll say, that creation formed from an overabundance of hope, which is an artificial emotion. Realize that if you simply know, trust that something will come to pass, you do not need to hope that it will. To hope that it will implies despair. And understand that your civilization has had its fill of hope. Now, it is understanding that it already has exactly the momentum it needs. And so, it is, I'll say, experiencing its fill with impatience.
okay. Times that I felt this, it's like it just was visible to me.
Yes.
I didn't feel like I made it on.
Yes. Well, you contacted it on purpose and experienced it on purpose, but you were perceiving simply, again, the mass consciousness emotionality, beginning to be tired with having to struggle to understand itself, and approaching that idea of the transformation in which it may simply allow itself to be what it is. All right?
And the other thing I want to ask is,
All right.
like, I know that this morning, like in a physical reality anyway, it's like this morning I got up, now that is not occurring right now. I'm sitting here listening to you, and
All
I'm
right.
not saying that there's no past.
All right, but understand that in a way you are still doing that rising and eating and dressing.
How?
Understand that, all right, allow me to put it this way. First of all, realize we are not saying it is important for you to develop a sense of losing your sense of time. You follow me? You do exist within physical dimensionality, which carries with it an idea of time. We are not saying there is anything wrong with that. All right? Whatever way you need to experience it for yourself is the right way. But again, simply understand. Are you now, again, in the past? Or are you in the future? Or are you simply right now?
Right now, I'm right now.
Okay. Understand that you are always right now, yes?
I can say that.
All right. It's very simple, nothing mysterious about it. Understand that because the only thing you can always say, no matter when you are, is that you are right now, then everything is still existing right now.
I don't get it.
All right.
You can help me, I'd appreciate it.
All right. We will use an analogy, all right? View your idea of what you think to be a film strip. Do you know what one looks like? Has many frames upon it.
Right.
All right. Understand that you pass that film strip in front of a light in what you term to be a projector and project each single frame upon a screen at a time. Yes?
Right.
That light is the light of your consciousness, projecting through your here and now single frame onto that screen your sense of your here and now reality. All of the film strip frames yet to come are your future. All of those that have passed the light are your past. You follow me?
I do.
But the entire film still exists, does it not? You are only aware of a single frame at a time, but the entire film still exists now, does it not? Simply beyond your perception.
Okay.
You follow me?
Because you haven't looked at the picture
You follow me?
I follow you as that, yes, but I can't say that there's been no past.
One moment. We are not saying there has not been a past. Simply that your past is a projection from your present, since that is the only time you really exist is right now. Realize that the idea of existing in time brings with it the idea of cause and effect. That something must have happened to create this. But that is only a viewpoint. Again, you can reverse the idea of cause and effect, but understand that what you term to be your memory of the past can change from time to time, and at times, this is, I'll say, directly reflective of the fact that you are actually changing to a degree your past.
This moment is all I just had.
All right, but that is not what we are saying. Again, simply understand that you already have framed in the future, you already have framed in the past. You are only focusing upon your present frame of existence. Understand that when you do create the idea of time, you perceive it as a continual flow from the past to the future. But understand it is not. Even when you know, even when you create physical time, it exists in what I'll say, even your scientists here and now upon your earth understand as discontinuous. That is, it flickers on and off, on and off, on and off. There are gaps in between your seconds of existence, but I will say those moments of existence flash and flicker in your terms so fast that you perceive it as a continual flow, on and off, on and off. Realize, therefore, in a sense, that like the frames upon that field, all those moments, all those ideas are like those frames, and your consciousness is simply, in a sense, moving from flicker to flicker, from moment in time to moment in time, as you allow your viewpoint of yourself to project through the frame of that particular instantaneous moment in time. But all those other moments, in a sense, still exist within the now, because there is no place else for them to go. You follow me? A little bit better? All right, again, do not worry about it, do not strain to view that idea. Your sense of time serves you as it is. Realize, again, that time simply flows as your consciousness allows it to flow. Realize that, to a degree, when you find yourself completely doing something, as you say, completely involved, you do not even notice the passage of time. Hours go by like seconds.
I have this idea sometimes, though, that like when I want something, right, it's like it should be here now and I should see it, only it isn't. And I go, well, maybe it's in the future.
All right, simply understand first of all that when you keep an idea in the future, it will stay there. But also understand again that you have already your own innate sense of timing, and that when situations occur, they will always occur for the best of all concerned. Understand that you do not isolate yourself. You make connections with other consciousness, and as such, every idea within your reality will, in a sense, involve some of that idea of your connection with every other consciousness, and as such, ideas which you assume must be here right now will be here exactly when they need to be here, so that you will have the best appreciation of that circumstance in the best way that it benefits you and your sense of connection to everything. Otherwise, it may come right now and you will not know what to do with it.
Can I just ask a question? Okay, then came to past like it did occur, like I bought a car.
Yes.
I did this. I had parents, they're gone now. That then was present time. And what is going to occur tomorrow is present time.
Yes.
And this is present time right now. It's all present
It's all
time.
present time, simply a matter of where your consciousness is focused upon all the ideas that exist within present time.
Yeah, it's all a present time.
Yes, you only assume there to be a past and a future because of the idea of time itself.
Since it had in the past, so to speak. Once you do it from this now, because it is now.
Yes, understand that to a degree. That is one way that you experience what you term to be miracle cures. Realize that if you have what you term to be a disease, And you know that, I'll say, that disease must take 3 weeks to clear up physically. You may project backwards 3 weeks in time and allow it to begin to clear up then, so that right here and right now it will be gone. You follow me? Then you are changing your past. Question.
How do we go about projecting the past?
Again, your imagination. Use your imagination, but understand that your imagination is real. Understand that you and your belief system must know beyond a shadow of a doubt that that is what you are doing. But realize that when you really do it, you will not have those doubts. You will not even stop to think about them. You will simply do it.
So it's like I was trying to help somebody heal their disease. I would have to just, in my imagination, picture myself doing that.
In a sense,
To that person three weeks ago or something like
you
that.
may, I'll say, send your energy and your love in that way if that makes sense to you. There is no one way to do it. It is only a suggestion, but also understand that you can force them to do nothing. They must also agree to allow that interchange to take place, and they will always be curing themselves.
What about things like to change history, like prevent, let's say, the assassination of the president?
Understand that every idea that is expressed exists in some parallel idea of a universe. Understand that simply every idea that can be experienced is being experienced right now, and it will not make a difference what you assume you will change. You will simply be projecting into a parallel existence. It is all the same.
I'm not sure I understand. Does that mean that cannot be done? Or
It can and cannot both. In other words, what you feel you are changing is not touching the reality that you have already created with that history in it. You are changing and creating another parallel reality. But it will still have the same idea within you. And as such, you may feel it has the same effect. You will never know the difference. Not from this viewpoint. Just as you may, in the same sense, travel physically within spacecraft, I'll say, from your planet to our planet. And you would never know if you were in the same time or not. It will make no difference.
if I was able to, let's say, go back and prevent the assassination, possibly like John Kennedy could be alive today.
Yes, and is in many parallel existences. You follow me? You would simply be projecting your consciousness into that existence and assuming it to be a change of the existence that you came from. Again, it is all right here. Simply a matter of what you choose to focus upon. Question.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to. The other night when you were talking, I asked you what was that Karakulov, whatever it was. In time that we know it. No, there is no right or wrongness. But had you stepped out a little bit, not enough vibrational duplication in a challenge like that?
Do you mean the hesitation?
Right, and I was wondering whether you were.
Understand that within the hesitation, there was communication between myself and the channel.
The channel, you mean the.
Yes.
Oh.
For the understanding at that point of the, as you say, ramifications of telepathic communication.
Yeah. And for some reason I felt your, if you pardon my expression, the feeling and compassion and in a sense the challenge of relating to a group so-called 2 or 3 weeks in advance based on what I would refer to as the knowledge 2 or 3 weeks ago. Very moving experience, but was that in a sense, did that have a possibility to create negative emotion within you for that moment in time?
No.
There was nothing like that at all.
Understand that we knew exactly what was, I'll say, taking place. Simply, that there was some idea of the negative emotionality taking place within the channel, and as such, we needed the conversation.
Oh, it was the channel that was doing that.
Yes. You will find that there was, to a degree at that time, simply the need to view the structure of the, as you say, mechanism of telepathy.
God, that was almost exactly what I was realizing, but that's basically what just an incredible reaction within me, but I knew something like that was going on, but I wasn't sure.
All right.
you're assuming that. But it's the same thing. Never mind.
Thank you. Question. Yes.
So we got this film strip. How come it's so easy to have pictures that have already gone past focus and not?
That is one of the ideas you are experiencing in this reality. Realize there are realities in which the future is easier to see than the past.
Is that a reality?
Yes and no. Understand that this is the reality you are physically experiencing within the level of your consciousness here. By definition, here. Therefore, that portion of you experiencing that reality in which the future is easier to perceive than the past, again, is only perceiving that reality in that way. Can understand with their imagination the idea of this reality, just as you can understand with your imagination the idea of that reality, and as such, by understanding within your imagination, understand that it is real, and understand that to that degree you can experience it. But I will say, in your terms of your, what you consider to be your physical identity as you experience yourself here and now, this is the reality of your choosing. You can have what you term to be those ideas of connection to yourself, yes, but understand that when those ideas occur, it's because your consciousness at that moment is collected into itself almost completely. It is called, I'll say, in your terms, gestalt or revelation. Not on this level. It does happen on a continual basis on other levels of your consciousness. Yes.
I'm missing a little under
Yes.
focus. And yet, here we all are.
Yes. That is part of the idea too.
It's very paradoxical.
All right.
Something to just get out of it.
Again, understand that each and every idea is in and of itself its own universe. Therefore, quite simply, this universe, this idea, is one which understands that there would be a time in which the idea of those limitations would serve as a tool, and then within this reality you would reach a point where you would arrive at the understanding that you no longer need that tool. That is the viewpoint you are experiencing. You follow me?
Yeah.
It is very simple.
Yeah.
Each and every idea, each and every variation of an idea is in and of itself its own universe, parallel to all others, and experienced by parallel versions of your own consciousness. Simply, all that is, in each view of consciousness, it will always be exactly all that is for that view of consciousness. That is also an idea. Why not? One moment. Do you understand?
Yes.
Anything that can be... All right, again, back to purpose. There is no need for purpose, except the purpose of allowing yourself to understand that your only purpose is to become aware of everything that you can do, that you are. Therefore, this will be one way. Understand that you will, in a sense, allow yourself to arise at viewpoints of yourself. Your focus of consciousness will shift so that you will, in a sense, in your terms of time, understand yourself in the collective sense. And you will understand the part that this universe plays within your overall reality. You follow me?
Yes.
Therefore, do not worry about getting there. You will get there. Allow yourself simply to live. All right? One moment. Yes.
Can you explain to me,
Degree. Understand that again, still, there was much in the way of interpretation of the times. You follow me? Simply, there is really, I'll say, very few ideas which constitute all that is. Everything else is simply a projection, an interpretation, a translation, created for the purpose of experiencing that idea from another viewpoint. Question?
I have a question.
Yes.
It's,
All right.
Can you do that on your planet? Can you do that?
From time to time, yes, but understand that again, even as you say with us, it is a matter of understanding that the idea only from time to time within our reality serves the purpose. Go right ahead. Understand again that your reality and what you experience of yourself is unfolding according to your own understanding of your purpose. Therefore, do not be impatient.
Why is it?
Your purpose is to experience yourself exactly as you are experiencing yourself. Therefore, do not disregard how you are experiencing yourself. Understand that when you allow yourself to experience yourself completely as you are, then many other ideas, in a sense, will be possible. Yes? Yes? Yes. Very good. Again, that is what we mean by that it serves, I'll say, the purpose that you have chosen to serve. Understand again that you have chosen to perceive certain ideas within the creation of this physical universe. You have attributed those ideas to what you call the laws of physics. But that simply are the parameters of definition for your universe. There are other laws of physics in other universes. Again, what you are describing is not outside those laws, but will always only take place within the timing of the mass consciousness involved as it needs to experience them for its own understanding of its own growth. Again, every individual already understands that they are a universe unto themselves. Realize that your consciousness can, in a sense, perform those functions as you say, but also understand that you have chosen certain ideas to which you will stick. That is your choice, made by you. So there is no discounting of the individual. And you have chosen, in a sense, from time to time, to be ignorant of having made that choice. But still, there is no contradiction, and there is no disregard for your own individual freedom of choice, seeing at how you made the choice, in a sense, to limit yourself in that way. You follow me?
Why can't we decide to choose something?
Yes, it is easily done,
See, the paradox of it is like
in a sense, but of your own choosing.
that we put on ourselves
Yes.
don't allow us to know how to make that choice.
Right, but in a sense, you also can. Realize, I do not mean to be mysterious with you. Simply realize that at this time, the reflection in your mass consciousness, in your own group choosing, each individual, as you say, casting their vote, allows for that possibility to exist, but it is in your turn random as to who will allow themselves to do so. Therefore, it is up to you. Your degree of willingness, not to force yourself, not to wish that you change your reality, but simply to understand all of the reality that you have chosen and find that portion within that reality that will allow you to understand how doing that will also fulfill your purpose. Not unimportant. Simply, whatever you consider to be your own purpose in self-discovery is always going to be important to you. Again, understand that there is paradox, yes. That will again be one of the ideas of the limitation, that you will not see how the seemingly opposing ideas can blend. When you allow yourself to see how they can blend, you will see how you can do what you are describing. Understand that it will usually occur when you are not thinking about it. In the same way that what you term to be flashes of insight about situations or what you term to be problems will occur when you stop thinking about them. Therefore, that is why you are experiencing paradox, because you are trying to think about both sides and push them together. Realize that they only merge when you stop thinking about them. And you will only be able, in a sense, to do what you are describing, instantaneous teleportation, when you stop thinking altogether for that brief moment of time. Because you must unlock yourself completely from this reality, much in the same way that our ships unlock themselves to be able to, I'll say, travel instantaneously from point to point. Realize that in a way, the spacecraft therefore is a symbol of the ability to do that, and really is the ability to do that. but with the accepted symbol of the spacecraft. There is no difference. Really, there is no difference between walking from one end of the room to the other. You are recreating yourself from moment to moment to moment to moment, teleporting yourself instantaneously from moment to moment to moment to moment. Realize that all you need to do is remove a few of the intervening moments between the beginning and the end of the room.
So the time or location would be on.
In a sense, both. Time and space are the same thing. When you travel in space, you travel in time. But understand that what you are doing is ignoring both space and time in order to be instantaneously elsewhere. You are simply re-identifying with the idea of your own sense of space and time and projecting to another idea or identity. You follow me?
Yeah.
But the actualization of the event must require the complete unlocking from the universe. Again, in other words, it will occur when you are not thinking at all. When you are unlocked from your idea of the universe, and then you will relock yourself at another location.
Then if I to do something like that, I would be going out of agreement with the mass consciousness.
No, you would not. Realize again. Realize again. If you do it, it is a product of your belief system, and if it is a product of your belief system, it is a part of your agreement with the mass consciousness at this time. It is up to you. Totally. Question?
I have a question.
All right.
All right. You say that all that is, but it was at one time we were all one, but we're individuals now, okay?
You are still also all that is, and always you are also individuals.
Okay, that's fine. But what I'm asking is that as an individual viewpoint, I have my higher consciousness, which I am in contact with the conscious.
Okay.
Right? Then when you assume a viewpoint and somebody else assumes a viewpoint and they become individuals, does that diminish my power?
No.
Or do I diminish theirs? Then it's all right here.
Understand again that if you create a limitation for a purpose, that does not involve a diminishing of power. It is simply the creation with the same amount of power of another viewpoint.
Then we all can be individual and all have the same amount of power.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Question.
Before, what did you totally get about acting time, like preventing assassination from occurring? You said it would be occurring maybe in a parallel universe, but what I was referring to is can that actually be created in this universe?
Not really, no. Understand that again, each and every idea is in and of itself its own universe. Realize that if you were to go back in time, and you were to, I'll say in your terms, change history, the idea of this universe still would exist. That assassination still exists within this universe. You would be shifting your viewpoint into another universe in which you played a part in preventing the assassination, and as such would be part of the history of that universe.
Maybe very.
Yes.
But then if I came back to this universe here, there wouldn't be any change.
No.
So then how would it work with the healing? If somebody is sick and you go 3 weeks before and they heal them, and you come back today and they're healed, wouldn't that be?
Very good. Understand that every idea that you change, you are creating another universe. Again, you do not have a universe in which ideas change. Each and every idea changes the entire universe. That is how many universes there are. That is how multidimensional you are. That is how far you extend in every direction. That is why you cannot count them all. Every idea is in and of itself a complete universe to support that idea. That is how powerful you are as the creator. It's very simple.
So if I went back in time to say the person sitting in front of me, go back in time and start healing them, and they come back and they're feeling just fine. I'm confused. Would they still be sick, or could they actually
One version of their idea in another universe might still be sick. But you both would have agreed to shift into a universe in which that is not so. And you would have created, in a sense, that universe at the same time.
And so I can come back now and this person will be fine and it went somewhere else.
Yes, in a sense, if you wish to look at it that way.
You can shift around the universe.
And always do, constantly. But you do not even know that.
So by saying that, I actually could go back and prevent an assassination and come back into this universe if there was an agreement with that person to have prevented it. Today, that may not have occurred.
But again, you are creating your own convenient labels. You will never know the difference.
I will never realize that occurred to me.
You will never know what universe you are in.
Oh. Okay.
Realize that in a way you do not know which one you are in right now.
Right.
They do not have numbers. They do not have numbers.
No, I understand that.
All right.
I think that happened to me once.
All right.
I was in the Bermuda Triangle area.
To a degree.
And I felt as if, and the plane went into a very gray cloud.
Yes.
Came out of it, and I felt like I saw everything in light, but I actually felt like I was not on the same planet.
All right. Very good.
And I've been trying to look at what might be different. I haven't really found anything.
You are.
I am different.
Yes.
How am I different? I don't really understand.
Look at what you are talking about.
Yeah.
You follow me?
I know what I'm talking about, but I don't know how that may be different. You may be more aware of that possibility.
All right. Any change in idea, any change of belief, any level of consciousness, again, creates its own universe to support that level of consciousness. Change is the only constant within the multiverse.
I have a question. In other words, right this moment, whatever is real to me, I can make it occur.
Yes. It will occur without you having to make it so.
All right. Well, talking about this power, this is a lifetime. You know, one night in a storm, I just couldn't see a thing, and I couldn't see how to drive home because it's black, and I just said, let there be light. And all of a sudden there was light that just came from nowhere, right?
All right.
And another time I stopped the rain. It was raining on everybody around me, but not on me. Sporadic.
So what?
It doesn't happen all the time.
Comes as you need it.
Comes as I need it.
As you really believe you need it. Realize there may be times when you simply wish to go through the experience.
Happen more if I wanted to.
But understand why you feel you need to make it happen more. You are attempting to assume that you need to avoid pitfalls.
Well, no, that's not the point. I mean, I needed help at the time, so I just helped myself.
All right, then understand that you will always do so. And if it does not happen, you do not need the help. And you know it. You follow me?
I follow you, but there's nothing wrong with my doing that if I feel
There is nothing wrong with you doing it if you do it. If you do not do it, there is nothing wrong with that either. That is what I am telling you. If you do not do it, there is nothing wrong with that either. Because you are not doing it, you are doing something else. And that is just as valid. You follow me? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes?
I was looking at this, what we call universe. In other words, it's like I'm going through this particular life in a certain way, and I form a new idea, which is very different from what I've been experiencing or participating in. Then, in effect, have I changed universes to that
Yes.
degree?
And every individual who shares a portion of themselves with that universe will also, in a sense, be being created by you. Understand that to some degree. That is why you may find yourself living one way and relating to individuals in a particular way. Then you find yourself making a change. All of a sudden, why is it that all these individuals who could not have understood this idea before the change now are sympathetic to this idea? I do not understand. How am I finding all these individuals all of a sudden when they were not there before? Why did they change their minds? You are creating your own versions of them, which they are allowing you to perceive of them that exist in that other universe to support that universe you have created for yourself, and each and every one of you do this for each other constantly.
So in other words, I'm constantly changing universes.
Yes. And that should tell you, although you all exist right here and right now, and although, again, at one level you are all one, that should tell you how many of you there are. And how intermeshed all that is really is.
I got it. Each one of us is all there is.
Yes!
All right.
Understand that you have an analogy within your mythology. It is referred to as Indra's net. It is a net made of pearls, and within each pearl is reflected every other pearl. That is the idea of the holographic universe. Constructed from what you term to be laser light. Understand that once you have this three-dimensional picture, you may cut this picture in half. You will not have two halves. You will have two whole pictures. Because the idea is that the pattern is contained everywhere, simultaneously. Your universe is an expanded idea of that. And therefore that is why, again, the idea of instantaneous teleportation can exist, in that the potential for you to exists everywhere within the universe. And so all you need to do is replace your idea of the locational property and identify with that idea of the other location within the hologram. Because potentially you do exist everywhere already in the universe. It's simply, again, a shifting of focus. That is all. You are not taking yourself anywhere. It is a shifting of focus within a you that already fills all that is. Thank you. Yes, you are.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Question.
Is that why sometimes we will create situations and say things that we want to do, and that we actually experience them and we have no need to do them then?
In a sense.
Yeah, I think if we can totally experience what we set out to experience as humans, you don't need the game anymore.
Very good. Understand that if you allow yourself simply to totally experience everything you choose to create for yourself, you will not really, in a sense, be worried about what is coming next. Everything will simply be lived, which is really, in your terms, the only process there is. Life.
Then it's just by consideration that I am right here and everybody else is everywhere else and there's other universes.
It is a viewpoint.
It's a viewpoint, but I'm actually in every universe,
Yes.
everywhere, assuming everybody's viewpoint. I'm
Yes.
just considering that I'm right here.
Yes.
And I can only see from these zippity eyes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Question.
Yes. There's an interesting phenomenon that I've noticed over and over again in this particular lifetime experience, and that is that, like, people say, visualize what it is you want. Well, sometimes I visualize this. You know, it's like I get an idea of what it is I want to occur, and it's something that's within my frame of reference, and I go, and it turns out for shit. You know, it's like not at all what it was that I had mocked up. It's totally different. But sometimes whenever I think the very worst is going to happen, it happens the very best, and I don't understand.
All right, again, understand first of all that to a degree you are simply placing judgment in the way of the visualization. You are making a comparison on subconscious levels that you are not allowing yourself to be aware of. In other words, you are having an ideal picture, but you are really measuring against it that which you think you can accomplish of the picture, rather than simply allowing yourself to totally be within that picture, to totally be that picture, to understand that that is not something in your future, it is something which is you now. You follow me? There is a difference in the intensity of beingness in using a picture to measure what you think you can get of the picture and simply using the picture to be that picture.
So in other words, I don't really need to see it. I don't even need the picture.
Not really. Just be. Just know that you already are. Period. And act that way. Be that way. Feel it and know that it is real.
Okay. Visualization. I mean, I can visualize something and have it happen.
Yes, many individuals may use that tool. Will not matter if you cannot. Again, it is only a tool.
Wasn't that way the universe got started in the first place?
Got started? There was no start.
Okay. In other words, the physical universe has always been here.
Thank you. Question?
I was asking a question. Has it always been here?
You tell me.
So which was first?
What?
The spiritual universe or the physical universe?
Simultaneous. There is no separation. At the moment you understand that everything and all that is views itself as all that is, that means just that. All that is. Now why do you think that it would be all that is if it did not include the idea of the physical universe?
Well, it could have just been a being that decided to be something.
But all that is all that is. Again, understand the idea of the magnitude of what that means, and yet also understand that there really is no importance to that magnitude. Simply, all that is all that is. Period. And if you can imagine it, it is part of all that is. Therefore, always has been.
Bashar, in this term of the physical universe and all that is, the physical universe here, the Earth, it's going to be so many billion, I don't know how old, but so many years old, right? But
now you are viewing an idea through the creation of time, and within the creation of time there are beginnings and endings as you understand them. But all that is, simply all is that. Period.
I guess with time, you could have had other type universes that didn't have these physical laws. You
Yes.
could have evolved into this over a period of time.
Yes. Again, if you can imagine it, understand it exists. You cannot imagine non-existence. You follow me?
I have a question.
Yes.
If I came back to the going from one universe to another, I felt like in a plane I did. Now what am I still living in that other universe?
You are creating complexities for yourself.
Yes.
All right. Understand, you do not need a map. You do not need a train schedule of when you are going back and forth into different universes. Simply allow yourself to live again. It will not make a difference. A difference which makes no difference is no difference. All right?
Well, what I was wondering is, like, if somebody disappears from this planet in that Bermuda Triangle, goes somewhere, we don't see them again, but they're somewhere else, and they don't even know it's occurred. Now, if that possibly occurred to me, I've come here and I might have been somewhere else. Now, if I disappeared off of that, other place, and
What difference would that make?
it almost makes me feel like it's sort of a loss that
Oh, really?
the other end, for like, let's say my parents in that dimension.
Do not worry about it, all right?
Yeah, but I was thinking.
All right. Understand again that from the viewpoint you will acquire upon your physical death, you will understand. All right?
I had a question.
Yes?
I have a brother who did music, and I would like to, I read it sometime ago that there was something about it. Where's he from?
Oh, Not at this moment, thank you. We may explore that, I'll say, a little bit later. First of all, understand simply that an individual who is here and now may feel their connections to all the other ideas and identities that they form. Understand that to a degree, it is really a meaningless question to say, where is he from? Understand there are many, many, many answers. And that this answer right here, right now, on this planet is just as valid. And is, I'll say, every bit, in those terms, as responsible for the entirety of the understanding the being has of itself. Understand again that each and every individual will always be a combination of all the ideas of themselves. Simply, if those understandings need to be specific, they will be. I will say at this time, it will not serve any purpose for a specific understanding until there really is a feeling of beingness here and now. You follow me?
I didn't understand about the feeling of beingness here and now.
In other words, many individuals wish to perceive, as you say, oh, where do I really come from? Thinking that in a way that is somehow more important than where they are right now. Therefore, to create that focus will be to allow the individual to remove importance from themselves and the choice they have made to be here. There will be a time to explore that idea.
I have a question.
All right, I will say there will be a few more of your minutes.
Okay.
Question.
In the higher consciousness, I can be one with that consciousness, or I can be separate from it and even ask it a question and get an answer.
Yes. Very good.
Now, but that higher consciousness is everyone's higher consciousness.
Yes.
Because I've had someone to answer me.
In its
I've had my higher consciousness to answer through somebody else's mouth to answer my question.
all right. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. I mean, is that real to you?
Does not make a difference if it is real to me. But, in a sense, yes.
Okay. Very real. Thank you.
We differentiate between real emotions and artificial emotions.
Simply, your first feeling, your first action, the first energy which arises within you, within any situation, allow it to channel itself into all the understandings of positive action. Understand that what you think to be anger is not negative. If you allow yourself to truly experience anger, it will last, I'll say, 10 to 15 seconds. Then it will be rechanneled into reaffirmation of self-strength and direction and drive. When you view that you have experienced anger through your, I'll say, artificial emotion of judgment, then you will be frustrated. You will be creating tension within yourself and judging yourself for having had this anger and not allowing yourself to really experience the anger. You will be experiencing the judgment and frustration. That is what turns into rage and violence, not the anger itself. None of your emotions in and of themselves, the real emotions, are negative. You create negative effects of some of your emotions by viewing them through an artificial screen of analyzation and self-judgment.
I have a question. I have a job running a school, and every day all kinds of things go on. And when you talk about creating everything, I'm just wondering. I don't totally understand that I wouldn't necessarily be creating this problem with this person and this.
In a sense.
It's like it's all happening, but.
Yes, that is how much of an automatic creator you are.
But then they're creating it too.
Yes.
People in the school are seeing the same thing and they're creating it.
Yes.
The mass creation.
Yes.
Growing very fast.
Yes.
So at any point in time, I could just create it differently, I
Thank you.
I'm not sure how, but I'll try.
No, just do it. Allow me to say, therefore, once again, already within you is contained all that is. And yet, there is nothing which needs to be contained, as there is no space to contain it. But, in having created the idea of your physical universe, and the experiences which you call life, simply understand that the way to do, the way you be, the way you feel, and the way you know that you are exactly at that point you need to be, is to simply allow yourself to live. That is all you need to do. It is very, very simple. Just live.
And not worry about what's going to happen next. So
Thank you.
to not strive for understanding.
You do not need to strive to understand what you already understand. In creating the idea of striving, you are separating yourself from that understanding and therefore creating the situation in which you need to crawl back to it.
Live means experience.
Thank you. Yes. Realize that life is experiencing. When you analyze, you are stopping, in a sense, the experience. But also, analyzation can be a part of the experience. And so you have your paradox once again. But realize that analyzation in and of itself, being a valid experience, does not mean that you must judge yourself to the point where you do not simply allow yourself to also live at the same time. I will say, once again, thank you very much. I will say that we love you all very much, and again understand that we are allowed to share this with you because you have allowed yourselves to understand that you also do love yourselves very much. And for that, we will thank you, because in allowing yourself to love yourself, then you allow yourself to become integrated and add to the overall mass consciousness that we share between us, and as such, allow us to experience also more of that overall mass consciousness in the multiverse. And I will say thank you. I will say good night.
Bye.